Hi, I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio, and let's talk about radial pulse wave shock wave systems. We're doing a review today. I have 3 different systems here I'm going to review to help you make a decision on which unit you might want to get. So let's start with our shock wave system called Smart Wave. Okay, this is my Smart Wave, and for transparency, it comes from China. So it's a Chinese system, and it's got some good points. The energy level can go all the way up to 190 millijoules, which is about 3.5 or 4 bar. And the frequency goes up as well quite high to 22 hertz. It also has a neat little function where you can have bursts of 12 shocks at a time or a burst of 4 shocks at a time, and it'll hit those shocks and then stop. It works by a foot pedal, so your hands are free, so that's kind of nice. Real loud, as you noticed, okay? So it is quite loud, and it's an electromagnetic form of generating the piston. Now, if you notice, this part moves quite a bit, and they send it with a neat little tool where you can measure how that makes sure it's moving the correct amount. The heads come in 3 different sizes: 15 millimeter, 40 millimeter, 15 millimeter, and then the focused, about 10 millimeter, quite focused. But again, these all oscillate quite a bit, which means there's a lot of compression on the tissues. To mitigate that, they recommend you use these silicone caps. So you place a silicone cap on it, which does mitigate the compression on the tissues. I'm sure it affects some of the energy transfer, but what's cool is once you put some lotion on the skin, it glides smoothly, and that gliding doesn't give you the pounding, which makes radial pulse wave or pressure wave therapy uncomfortable. So silicone cap helps, but I think it mitigates some of the energy transfer. It has a manual operation, or you can go to their automated forms of clinical protocols per body part. Ulnar, epicondylitis, acute, chronic, whatever it is. Great to have, but frankly, once you get to know the patient, once you get to know your machines, I really don't use the automated protocols. It helps as a beginner, but after that, it's the number of hits based on what the patient can tolerate and need, and how much pressure wave you can get into the system. So that's the Smart Wave unit. To replace this, it's about $1,500. There's between 1.5 million hits in here. So quite a bit of expense to replace it, not a lot of expense to get into the system. The second unit we have is the Chattanooga Mobile. All right, it's internally a storage unit, so it's a very good unit. The bar goes up quite a bit higher. This goes up to 5 bar, okay? Whereas the Smart Wave only goes up to about 3.5 to 4. Hertz still goes to about 20, so 22, I believe, all right? But if you notice, all the machines, as the hertz go up, the bars drop, all right? So 21 and 4 is your maximum here. There's 1 air compressor in here, so as you go to the higher hertz, the way they're able to get the piston, the little bullet in there to go faster, is through electronically modifying the airflow, because there's just 1 compressor in here. This is sealed, so now we don't have to worry about wearing a silicone cap, which is a plus as opposed to the Smart Wave unit. However, this cap, even though it's sealed in here, there is still a certain amount of compression. I'm going to bring it down a little because that's way too much for my hand. And this is a trigger load. So you're still getting a compression of this little contact head up and down on the skin, so it can bite a little bit, all right? to attenuate that biting on sensitive areas like the thenar. You have other heads, and they have a whole bunch of heads you can get. I only have 3, the 15 millimeter, the little more focused metal head, which fits, there you go. And then for those sensitive areas, I use a plastic tip area. So that'll mitigate some of the sensitivity of the compression of the handpiece on the skin. So it's a nice unit, penetrates, I think, pretty well, but the biggest issue is comfort. At the higher speeds, the generator, you can hear it laboring. It labors a little bit at the higher hertzes, so I don't know if that's good or bad, but it kind of goes zzzz, 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 when you're going higher and faster. So a lot of times I'm in the 12, 15 hertz rather, 12, 15 hertz range with this, because it just labors at the faster hertz. So it has a countdown timer, 2,000 cycles is the cycle here. So the Chattanooga RPW unit, it does have to be opened and cleaned, at least depending on how much you use it. Could be once a day if you use it a lot, at least every couple of days, where you open it up and you just send a wire, like a pipe cleaner, through the tube and clean it and wipe off any dust from the bullet that's in there. So that's the maintenance on this one. Getting a new bullet and tube is only a few $100s. Over here we have the EMS Doller class unit. So this unit has a few features the other units don't have. It also goes up to 4 bar, all right, which is nice. It goes up, the hertz goes up to 23, 24, 25 hertz. So it's got a little bit more speed and a little bit more power. This also has pre-programmable, 3 pre-programmable settings. So you can pre-program it if you want. Smart Protocol 1, 2, or 3. We use it as a mild, moderate, and severe. Other things that are interesting about this unit, for people who are hypersensitive and you just want to desensitize the tissues, you can hit the analgesic button and it'll give you 1,000 hits at a very high hertz but a low intensity at 1 bar to get you that pain, pressure, sensitivity away. And so it raises the PPT, pain pressure tolerance. There's 2 settings for the analgesic mode, and then you would go into your regular treatment mode. The ramp up mode is cool in that it'll automatically, every 150 hits, add an extra 0.1 bar to where you start out. And that just makes it easy for you to change on the fly. Now this unit you can change on the fly. You can raise the bar by these 2 buttons on the top. This unit you have to stop, and this unit you have to stop to raise it, the bar. So this you can raise on the fly, and they have that ramp up that will also do that for you during the treatment. And it'll program it to either stop after it goes up 0.5 bar, or it'll bring it all the way up to 4 bar. The other thing that's really cool about this unit that the other units don't have is, if you notice, the head's spring-loaded. Now, with the head being spring-loaded, that means as this oscillates in contact with the patient, it doesn't pound on the patient. It oscillates and all the shock is taken here. So the contact point stays on the patient the whole time, which means it's a much more comfortable than the other units. So for example, I'm going to bring this down to, let's say, 3 bar, all right? I'm going to put it right on my thenar. Completely comfortable. That was much more comfortable than this at 1.2 bar, all right? This also has 2 compressors. So as you go up to the higher hertzes, the compressors kick in. 2 compressors at 2 speeds, so there's 4 gears in here. So you don't get that laboring at high speeds, which means I can go at 22, at 25 hertz here, get in my 2,000 to 3,000 hits quicker than the other 2 machines. So this also comes with a lot of different heads. I have the 40 millimeter myofascia, which we use a lot. And then there's a smaller head that comes with it for target pinpoint. And then you can get a whole series of heads, like all the machines. But this is the second head that comes with it, which is just for focused. I shouldn't say focus, for more direct treatment. All right, don't lose those O-rings, doctors. All right, there you go. All right, and this headpiece does get open and cleaned maybe once a week because the gel can get up underneath it. The last great modification of the Doller class is the burst mode, similar to the Smart Wave, but it's a little bit more intricate, where you can set it on one pulse, set it for burst 1, and then you'll get an increase in impulse and then a ramp down in impulse. So neat programs, but the bottom line is when you're able to change the bar on the fly, it works very easy. As you get more adept to the machine, you don't need all the different protocols. It's really for the introductory, getting used to your machine. So, great unit. I love it. A lot more power, in my opinion. A lot faster, a lot quicker treatments. You know, the Chattanooga Mobile, very good. Stores, doesn't have the power, doesn't have the penetration. Smart Wave, China. Enough said. Okay, got the job done for me, but that is what's out there today. And remember, your high quality radial pulse wave is still a pressure wave. You don't need the focused unless you're really doing pinpoint work in deep, deep tissues. Whole nother video. I'm Dr. Donald DeFabio. Thanks for tuning in. Like, share, and shoot me a question if you have any concerning this email and product review.